Imagine someone scared with a fear of public speaking and refuses to speak in public by any means necessary. Well, that person was me at the end of January. However, throughout the course of this semester, I have learned the art of communication. I have learned how to inform, how to persuade, and I'll explain to you how I use these skills in academia, in my personal life, in my professional field, and also in my community endeavors. And then I will continue to explain the top thing I've learned over this course of the semester. And then I will show you on a scale of 1 to 10 my before, how I was before this course, and then afterwards. So let's get started. Communication is definitely present in different areas of my life. It's especially present in academia. I use speeches in other courses, not just in my COM 107 course. For example, I'm an African American Studies certificate candidate, and I take these courses that focus on African histories, the African Americans, in today's culture. And one thing I learned actually in our COM textbook is that African Americans are from a tradition of storytelling. So part of their traditional communication habits are to include storytelling, preaching, gospel, and inspiration. And so that's something I've learned from COM, and it mixes in with my other academic studies. And so that all ties in together. Another area in which communication is present in my life is in my personal life. I've learned in this class and within the textbook and also in your course is that communication verbally and non-verbally is very important. Verbal communication is present clearly, however, non-verbal communication is what's most significant. One statistic that has stuck with me is that 93% of all communication in social situations is used through nonverbal communication. This shows the importance of hand signals, gestures, eye contact, things without actual spoken word. Communication is certainly present in my potential career field. I would like to one day become a lobbyist, and an essential part of lobbying is the art of persuasion. In this course, I've learned part of persuasion called the speech actuation. Essentially what this means is you tailor your speech or communication in order to get the audience to take a desired action. And for my case in lobbying, I would like a member of Congress to consider the piece of legislation. For example, I would like to be a civil rights lobbyist. Therefore, I might be persuading a member of Congress in order to consider more civil rights legislation in their agenda. There's definitely communication in my future community service endeavors. One day I'd like to start my own nonprofit for girls in lower socioeconomic communities in order to be like a woman empowerment type of organization. And for that, I will also need to use skills of persuasion. The type of persuasion I would use is called the speech of conviction. And this is something I learned in the textbook. And essentially what that means is I'm going to encourage the listeners. And so in my organization, I will have to encourage young girls to achieve more and be strong women in society. So I'll definitely have to use my skills of persuasion in this endeavor. Okay, now let's switch gears a little bit. Now I want to go over the most important thing that I learned in this semester. Now this was a little bit harder to narrow down, but ultimately I think the most important thing that I learned was to practice. It is essential to practice before each speech numerous times. I learned that largely from the beginning of the semester to the end, that the more practice I have and for the more people, the better the outcome. So that is definitely the most essential thing I've learned. And when I practice more, that let's become more comfortable with material. I'm not looking at the screen to see what the next slide is. I'm more at a relaxed state while I'm presenting, and that's certainly essential to a great presentation is being relaxed. Now let's go over my communication skills and the growth from a scale of 1 to 10 from the beginning semester to now. The beginning semester, I would rate myself about a 5. I knew how to give a basic presentation. However, my timing was off. I rushed. I certainly looked at the slides. So it was definitely a lot more room for improvement. Now, I would say that I definitely had a big growth. Right now, I think I'm about an 8. So I still have room for improvement to become an orator, but I still think it's a great improvement from the beginning of the semester. I have explained at the beginning of the semester, I hated giving speeches. I never was excited about public speaking, and I definitely was reluctant to take my COM 107 course. But now, fast forward to where I am now in the semester, I enjoy giving speeches. I'm much more comfortable with public speaking, and I really have enjoyed my COM 107 course. All in all, there's been a lot of growth from the beginning of the semester till now. In this presentation, I have gone over how my the skills I learned in COM 107 can be applied to my life. It can be applied into my academic studies because there's a lot of tie between COM and what I learned in other academic courses. There's a tie between my personal life as well because I've learned how nonverbal communication and verbal communication are extremely significant. And then this also has a tie into my professional life and how I potentially want to become a lobbyist and how as a lobbyist I will have to learn skills of persuasion. And then finally, it also connects to my community engagement, which I would like to have a nonprofit for girls in low socioeconomic communities. And essentially for that, I need to have good communication skills as well. All in all, I then went into the things that I've learned in the semester and how my most significant thing I've learned is to practice for all speeches because that essentially leads to a better, more seamless speech. And finally, I finished with my growth on a scale of 1 to 10 from the beginning semester till now. Overall, this has been a great semester, and I want to leave it with this quote to sum up how I've grown from the beginning until now. And essentially, without continual growth and progress, such words as improvement, achievement, and success have no meaning. And those are the words of our founding father, Ben Franklin.